Come on, top bar. Show up for real. There we go.
Dire team ban.
Also make sure the mic is open. I don't think it really matters since no one's going to be... Someone might. Maybe not. The mic is open though, and that's what matters. Keeper ban first.
10 seconds remaining. Dire team ban.
Lycan? Doom. That's good too.
Dire team pick.
What's up guys, this is Mikelorus, going to be casting Game 1 in the best of 2. We have Caleb Giff Mana, who, I mean, they have a Keeper of the Light in their icon picture, and they have Keeper of the Light banned from them, so I think we all know who's going to win this game. But seriously, it's Caleb Giff Mana versus the Fraggots. Get it? Because it's like fragging someone, and it's wordplay. Alright, so this is from the UGC League, broadcasting on UGC League, twitch.tv/UGC League 2, for anyone who is curious in-game, if there is anyone in-game. If you want more information about this league, then head over to ugcleague.com. All the information is there. This is the test season, and as it stands right now, both of these teams in the NA Iron Division, Caleb Giff Mana is currently on top with 8 win, 2 loss record, and Fraggots are tied for second with like 4 or 5 other guys with a 7-for-3 record. So both of these teams doing pretty well so far. So we'll see how well they can do moving forward in this game. Let's see if Team Fraggots can shoot to the top and claim victory over Caleb Giff Mana. But we have a draft, so let's go over the draft. Doombringer is going to be the first pick for the... I don't know. Caleb Giff Mana is kind of wordy. I don't know what I'm going to call them. For the Radiant side, Doombringer, as well as a very early Crystal Maiden pickup, which is kind of interesting. I mean, she did get slightly nerfed in the latest patch, or the latest set of patches, rather. And then after that, she's just completely fallen off. Like, she got a little bit of int taken away from her or something like that, and then no more Crystal Maidens, like, ever. That was the last we saw of her. So that was pretty fun. Team Fraggots going to respond to that with the Faceless Void, Ancient Apparition. So there's going to be a lot of cold heroes here today. The Faceless Void AA combination is a combination that we've been seeing a lot more because teams have been more and more willing to first pick the Faceless Void, which is, you know, very interesting. But when you do that, you get the option of picking any support heroes that go well with that Faceless Void, and there are a lot, to be fair. But Ancient Apparition, being able to get guaranteed damage with Cold Feet, and then also jack up the Faceless Void with Chilling Touch, and also shooting a Frost Blast, and then having the Faceless Void jump in and Chronosphere so that the Frost Blast is guaranteed to land, is a pretty sick combination. Another hero that we've been seeing a lot with the Faceless Void is the Skywrath Mage. I'm not too sure if Fraggots want to go for a Skywrath after having picked up the Ancient Apparition. Yeah, I was about to say, Skywrath kind of light on the crowd control effects, so Vengeful Spirit probably going to be the preferable choice. Get a little bit more disables from your supports, because when you are in a game, you want to have disables, and generally you want to have those disables on the supports because your supports are going to be the most mobile heroes on the map. They're going to be moving around the most, they're going to be making the most action. Fraggots, this draft is actually blasting by really quickly. Fraggots with some kind of weird bans, Bloodseeker as well as a Witch Doctor. Normally when you see a ban of Bloodseeker, you're expecting a hero with a really large buff, such as the Treant, to be picked up from Fraggots. Not going to happen just yet. But Caleb Giff Mana going to eliminate some of the supports, forcing the Vengeful Spirit Wraith King pickups, and they themselves picking up the Tidehunter Lycan. So they have a lot of bulk on the front lines. Tidehunter right in the front with the Ravage, Doom, and of course Lycan. Very tanky heroes in their own regard. And when you add the Vlad's Lifesteal Aura and the, well, I guess all the Vlad skivs to all these melee heroes, you have yourself a very, very tanky side. Tidehunter most likely going to be soloing a lane for the Caleb side. Sorry. Lycan, I'm inclined to think, is going to the mid lane at this point. Doom in the jungle is slow and very inactive, so generally you don't see that all too often. But it is still a possibility. Hell, even Doom could go into the middle lane. Like right now, Fraggots are without a real mid lane hero. They have the tri-lane, which is probably going to be Ancient Apparition, Vengeful Spirit, and Wraith King. because the hot thing to do nowadays is offlane Faceless Void. If that happens, they really should hope that Faceless Void is not going up against a Tidehunter, because that is not a lane that Faceless Void does well in. But to be fair, there are no lanes that Faceless Void does well in. Like, it's a Faceless Void in an off lane, solo. He's not going to have many good matchups. In fact, I don't think he has a single good matchup. Like, if he's up against Doom Crystal Maiden, it's not the worst, but he's certainly not going to win that lane. That's just not going to happen. If he's up against Tidehunter, yeah, that's not going to happen either. Really, the goal of the offlane Void is to get to level 6. Once you have that, you can team up with your supports. Between Time Walk and Chronosphere, you should be getting kills. And we can see Caleb respecting that Skywrath potential. Potentially would have been a mid lane Skywrath, which I would have liked to see. But for right now, both teams lacking a mid lane or lacking a quote-unquote mid lane hero. Like in Tidehunter, even Doom, all serviceable in that lane. But I expect Caleb to give mana to pick up something more along the lines of an Enigma or something like that. Like, they have a Crystal Maiden who is the hard support, so they could pick up a little bit more of a lighter support hero, like still support E, but not Crystal Maiden Vengeful Spirit status of a support. So Enigma would open the door for a lot of pushing options for them. I think would be an overall pretty good pick, especially when you combine that with Howl. But Fraggots, they're going to lock down the mid lane, and they're going to lock it down hard with the Outworld Devourer pick. Caleb give mana no matter who is going to be going towards that mid lane. He's not going to have the best of times. Lycan, though, still extremely capable versus the OD, mostly because he's not reliant on his mana pool much, but it's instead going to be a Razor. So we have ourselves some kind of strange lanes. I'm still inclined to think Tidehunter is going to the offlane just because he's such a strong offlane hero. But then you have Doom, Crystal Maiden, Lycan, Razor sharing 2 lanes. And the Razor pickup in response to the OD 9 times out of 10 means that Razor is going to go mid, expecting to face up OD, and then he should be relatively okay. But then you have Lycan, Crystal Maiden, Doom, and that would probably force Doom into the jungle. And I already said that Doom in the jungle is inactive and kind of subpar, and I'm going to stand by that. I mean, when Doom goes into the jungle, yes, he can farm. It's not fast, though. Like, he will get his farm eventually, but it will be slow. And also, he can't really do anything. Like, compare him to an Enigma, compare him to an Enchantress, something. If you smoke up a Doom, what are you gonna do? You could eat a creep, and that might get you in range you might be able to get in range, maybe. But generally, Doom is a farming jungle, and in this particular game, I'm not too sure. In this particular metagame, I'm not too sure about how I feel about farming junglers. But regardless, that is going to be the draft, and already we see some level 1 smokage coming out from the Fraggot side. Let's see if this is going to lead to anything. Whenever I see this, like, nothing ever happens. Like, the enemy team gets to over here, and then the smoke fades, and then just that's it. So let's see what's going to happen. They're going to take this opportunity to ward up the enemy jungle just a little bit, blocking all the camps. They are really expecting a Doom jungle right here, because the Ancient Apparition probably going to sentry this camp straight away, unless they are just going to keep grouping and then accomplish nothing. But regardless, we have on the Fraggot side, playing the OD, most likely the mid lane hero, is going to be Bulldogs on the OD. Vengeful Spirit is going to be played by Speedy Kun. Wraith King is going to be played by Redemption. And supporting him is going to be Simtex. And then the solo lane is going to be Respect. Hashtag calculated. On the Please side, we have Razor, going to be played by Ultros. On the Doombringer, looks to be jungling. It's going to be played by Spoonguard. Lycan is going to be played by Priapus. And supporting on the bottom lane, it's going to be Exiles, Crystal Maiden. Last but not least, we have Zikoli. I like these guys. They have nice, easy to pronounce names. It's going to be soloing the lane as a Tidehunter versus the Faceless Void. Not going to be a lane that Faceless Void is going to have much fun in, but he should be getting his experience nonetheless. Now, this is pretty dangerous because when you give a Tidehunter a very easy time in lane, and you know it's kind of hard to stop a Tidehunter. Let's be brutally honest about all this. Then he gets a really quick Blink Dagger. He gets really quick boots. That is so incredibly dangerous. Like, Wraith King is durable, Ancient Apparition, Vengeful Spirit, hell, even OD. If they get hit with a Ravage, then they're just going to melt so damn quickly. And right we see the very aggressive playstyle of the Fraggot side. I mean, the supports sitting on the side, not over here, not poking around. They're going to make sure that Priapus does not get anything. And Speedy Kun's positioning really indicative of that. Meantime, mid lane, Bulldogs taking quite a lashing from Ultros. Already lost most of his mana, but you know it's an OD. Really, he can't expect to have mana for that long. The supports for the Please side, or you know, should I say Doom, is he doesn't have many options. He has an option in his jungle. So I think this might be time for Doom to say, screw it, I'm going to go to the enemy jungle and get that, because there's clearly nothing in mine. Really, this is just a dual lane. Doombringer wasn't going to be contributing to this bottom lane regardless of, you know, whether or not the camps were blocked. So Exile and Priapus gotta watch themselves. The triple stun combination of Vengeful Spirits opening and then, well, I guess no stuns yet. This is actually a lane where Cold Feet would be really good for Ancient Apparition because of the amount of stuns they have. But you know, when that eventually happens, the Wraithfire, the Vengeful Spirit, Arcane Missile, and the Cold Feet, it'll be a lot of damage. And the Crystal Maiden's not exactly a tanky hero. She will go up in flames. We'll see how, if ever, this aggression manages to come through, because they can just sit back and farm. Redemption is getting all the last hits, whereas the Lycan has only picked up 3, which is about 3 more than I expected, but still. Taking a look at the other lanes, ooh, Zicoli falling behind in the farm, 1 for 3, versus the moderately higher 6 for 2 on the Faceless Void. Faceless Void doesn't even have a Quelling Blade or any agility or anything like that. It's just the fact that Faceless Void has a lot of base damage. I mean, 70 versus 62, and 62 is already really high. Like, it's right up there. As I say that, looking at OD carrying 89 base damage, but that's cheating because he's stealing intelligence the entire game. It's like the enemy, Please Doombringer, is now going to go into the enemy jungle, try to get something going on, but he's been slowed down a lot, and now Exile's in a lot of trouble. 2 stuns onto him immediately. The beatdown is going to commence. So much damage from the Chilling Touch. Redemption, though, might go down in trade. He will. The tower shot will seal the deal there. Looks like Crystal Maiden just tanky enough to lure the Wraith King in for just 1 step too far. It is going to be a 1-for-1 in the end. The support for the carry, or you know, the 5 position for the 1 position, it's not too terrible because the Ancient Apparition did manage to pick up First Blood. Boots for him, not really going to be a huge factor, but yes, he is actually going to be going for the Cold Feet in this particular game. When you have that much stun, why not add more stun? Quickly looking at the middle lane, OD really struggling up against this Razor. You see Razor's picked up 9 times out of 10 in order to counter the OD, as the OD tries to get in there with Astral Imprison. Well, he gets punished by the unstable current. And then you just static link him, and there's literally nothing he can do. If he imprisons you, he gets slowed down, he loses more damage. If he imprisons himself, you still steal damage from him, and then he's going to be that much more unhappy. But he's going to receive some support, because here comes the supports. Vengeful Spirit with level 2 Missile, plus the Cold Feet, and the Ice Vortex doing a little bit more damage. And that should be it. Yes, it is. Only a level 1 static, only a level 1 Plasma Field. It's going to not do that much to the OD. You should be able to sit in the lane for just a little while longer, as Spoonguard, being that passive Doom jungle, is not going to be contributing to that mid lane anytime soon. Semtex, as well as Speedy can continue their roam. Might find Exile, though Observer wards, and Sentry wards for that matter. Vengeful Spirit and Semtex are both completely spotted. However, Redemption getting a lot of experience down this bottom lane at the price of Lycan getting quite a bit of farm. I mean, that kill really helping him out in the farm department, and Redemption not really doing the best last hitting job in the world, seeing as though he lost his 2 supports. Now, what's going well for the Fraggot side is that this top lane, somehow, some way, I don't know how, it's happening though, Faceless Void is winning this lane. Or at least is not getting crushed. 9 for 6 Tidehunter. This is not supposed to be happening, but Respect is somehow managing to keep an advantage. Now Bulldog going to run to Spoonguard. The right-click war will be very short indeed. Bulldog's going to get gushed, however, Zicoli going to get there with an Anchor Smash. 1 right-click, needs another, but Respect even has a Chronosphere to cover his buddy. Not going to happen. The Faceless Void not able to do enough damage to crack through this Tidehunter Kraken Shell, but in the meantime, bottom lane, Priapus going to get stunned once, going to get stunned twice, plus the Cold Feet. He's going to go down this time. The tower not doing nearly enough damage for the Wraith King. He'll salve up and be just fine. He's holding on to a lot of gold, and there we go. Power Treads. Not going to bullshit around with a Hand of Midas or any farming build like that. He's going to go smash things. That is what I like to see. Wraith Kings that smash things. I still wouldn't mind seeing a Blink Dagger. Being able to blink in, following your Faceless Void is pretty useful. Although, maybe you could just leave all the initiation of Faceless Void, and because you're rarely ever going to be hitting things in the Chronosphere as a Wraith King, unless the Faceless Void is a pure baller with his Chronospheres, and, well, Calculated is in his name. So there's a chance that he is a Chronosphere baller, but the verdict is still out on that. Speedicon getting messed up by a couple of dogs. Is he actually going to die here? That's a really bad way to go. Like, it's not a way that's fun. Would not recommend it. Spoonguard has returned to his jungle after that death up on top lane. I mean, that's what happens when Doombringer tries to participate. He's only level 3. The Crystal Maiden is almost level 4, Lycan level 6. This Doombringer is going to be pretty much a non-factor for a good portion of this game. I think at this point, he needs a Midas. Like, not because it's going to be an early Midas or anything, but just because of the fact that if he gets a Midas, he'll be able to recover. In the meantime, top lane, Tidehunter, this gank is going nowhere, so you might as well not even bother. So yeah, he needs a Midas so he could actually accelerate into something useful. Maybe once he gets a Midas, with the Devour Gold on top of that, he'll be able to build a Shiva's or a Necrobook or something. Something that just stands on its own without any sort of amplification. Like going, really anything is good, because Doom, the ultimate skill, is really good, in case no one knew that. But yeah, he has to get something that stands on its own. He can get a Blink Dagger and try to be that Doom Blink Initiator. Dooming an OD is a great way of shutting him down. He could literally do nothing about that except for, hopefully eventual Spirit Swap. But that's not exactly the best route in this game when you're so far behind and when Doom is never actually going to come up. When you are getting kills, when you are able to participate, when you're able to actually cast a Doom by a reasonable time in the game, not 20-15 minutes in, then going for that is a little bit better because it allows you to apply more pressure. But I think going for Necrobook might be the way to go here. OD still struggling up against this Razor, is a full 2 levels down. Oh my god. Holy, he's 20 CS behind too. This Razor is dominating this mid lane, and Speedicon in the meantime is getting hit pretty hard as well. Wraith King, think about turning things around on Priapus, who has hit level 6, going to go into the wolf form, try to chase down this Vengeful. Vengefull's sticking around, has a lot of restoratives actually, so he should be pretty safe. And Redemption just trying to bait out the enemies to use Reincarnation, maybe get them to overextend. He's not going to die anytime soon, and well, maybe eventually there will be Necrobooks so that you could actually burn through this mana pool. Aside from that, there will be nothing picked up that will allow the Please side to burn mana at all, I don't think. There shouldn't. No mana burning should happen, unless Doombringer is really baller, and he picks up, I don't even know what they're called, the mana burn. These guys, Mind Stealers. Mana burn, 100. Huh? Maybe? Maybe not? Okay. Well, think about it. Think about it, Spoonguard. If you're gonna go kill a Wraith King, burning out all of his mana is a good way to do it. Or you can just kill him twice. That's also a good thing to do. Because keep in mind, Doom does not interact with Reincarnation at all. Like, they have no relation to each other. Razor going to continue to get free farm in this middle lane. Bulldog's really starting to fall behind there. Taking a look at the carries, 25 for 2 with the Vlad's up versus the 33 for 2. Kind of even in farm, however, Spoonguard, he shouldn't die here. There's an Observer Ward. You see them, but it's too late, Spoonguard. The greed is real. Centaur Stomp? Centaur Stomp will happen, but it's a little bit too late. And now, well, I don't even know if Exile wants to be doing this, because Bulldogs is here to support, will steal some intelligence, and then drop an ultimate. Won't do too much, however. Now the Ravage will happen. They're on the run. Bulldogs has got to leave. Here comes Razor from the back. Speedicon's going to get whipped down. Bulldogs is also going to get clawed to death. Not the best fight for Fraggots. There is still no level 6 yet. Onto Simtex. He, I think, teleported down here. I'm not entirely sure. I mean, Faceless Void still doing very well on the top lane, but this Razor is going to be very devastating moving forward. He is 42 and 8. He has Power Tread's Wand, which is not that much 10 minutes in, but it's still more than enough to do some serious hurt on the enemy team. Going for a mech, he should be able to get that really quickly, already holding 900 gold, almost 1,000. So his mech is, for all intents and purposes, almost done. He's going to try to go strong onto Redemption. It's going to be warded away by Simtex as well as a Wraithfire Blast. Still stealing a little bit of damage. Just to send, not to do damage, it's about sending a message. Looks like everyone from the Fraggots going to group up in the middle lane. I'm not sure if this is a desperation move or what, because, well, they do have a Chronosphere, but that's about all they have. If they had Frost Blast, Ice Blast, Ice, Frost, they're synonyms. If they had Ice Blast, I would say yes, go do it, because if you jump in and Chronosphere this guy, or just swap him and beat him down, that'll work too. Ultron Ultron is something else. Ultros is going to go down extremely quickly. Again, not give Ancient Apparition that level 6. It is a very important level for the hero. When you're sticking around when you're sticking around all 4 teammates, you're not going to get that much experience. They're going to keep trying to force this tower. And there's no Doom on Doom. There's no Ravage. Was used in that previous Southern Jungle fight. And Zicoli isn't even there. It looks like there will be some tower trades, though. Already the bottom lane tower has gone down. If anyone shows their face on this middle lane, like Exile, who is going for a very, very odd Crystal Maiden build, he's going for... I don't want to say it's an outdated build, but Ultra is going to come right back in. Is there any follow-up? No, Speedycon actually doesn't have any mana, so no follow-up, and the Ancient Apparition will get the tower destruction and breach that very, very nice level 6 mark. But on the bottom lane, meantime, with the Vlads, this Lycan is going to be quite a nuisance if the Fraggots don't actually figure out how to deal with him and how to deal with this very hard to deal with, a very mobile split-pushing hero in the Lycan. He's 1,000 gold, and I'm expecting him to go for a Zoo against the Wraith King. It would probably be the best thing to do. And by that I mean, okay, I'm wrong. He's not going to go for that. He's going to go for a straight BKB. Against all the stuns is not too terrible. I probably would have gone for the Zoo, the Necronomicon, and just had, all the animals running around. But to each his own. Simtex gotta be a little bit careful. If he gets hit with the level 3 Gush, he might just go down. Ultros gets swapped back, but the Ravage is there. Will catch both supports. Is there any follow-up? Speedycon will get Gush down. Ultros, though, will get frozen in place, and the OD ultimate. Not going to do too much. Redemption will sacrifice his first reincarnation in order to slow down Exile, and then Exile is going to be so dead. Wraith Fire Blast, big crit. No, big crit. Just a regular hit, but that's fine. Don't need to be excessive about it. He's dead anyway. Here comes Faceless Void. I don't really know if he has a plan here. He has a Mask of Madness, but it was on cooldown trying to get to the fight, so not going to be of too much use. 5 to 8 right now as Fraggots. Well, they're still a little bit behind because of the amount of farm the Razors have been getting, and even Tidehunter recovering in a pretty big way. Now just have his Blink Dagger, so Blink Ravage is now a very potent threat, so the Fraggots have got to worry about that. And, well, still the Wraith King doesn't have that much in the way of items. OD has less than nothing. So, yeah, the items for Fraggots, they have to work on getting a team fight to work. They have to work on getting a team fight to happen with the Chronosphere, with an Ice Blast, with the OD Ultimate. I mean, OD... Eclipse isn't really going to be doing that much this game, I fear. I mean, he's... I want to say Dagon, but I know it's probably going to be a Force Staff, and he's just holding a Null Talisman. But he did not do well in the mid lane. I mean, he is right on top of the supports and the bottom of the gold chart, so he's going to be struggling moving forward, especially when Lycan gets his BKB. He can imprison himself, but I think that's just going to let's try that again in English. That's just going to delay the inevitable. And Smoke gets popped for respect. We'll see 2. Drop a Chronosphere. Yes, Jewel drop a Chronosphere. Ice Blast perfectly on the mark. Exile's going to drop first, and Priapus will get frozen in place. The chilling effect will shatter him. In the meantime, mid lane, Ultros picking a fight. Will pop his ultimate. It's not the most important ultimate to have in a fight, but still, you would rather have it than not. But it's 2 free kills, the Lycan and the Crystal Maiden, both clumping up, both get caught. Fraggots could actually go for a Roshan here. What's the level of Vampor? Only level 1, but the Faceless Void has Mask of Madness. They will be scouted out by wolves. They have no sentries in the area. So if they do go for that, they run the risk of getting Roshan stolen or, getting gnawed at, just getting their heels nipped. Minor annoyances, and then possibly a serious annoyance if they lose Roshan to the wolves. But for right now, it looks like they're going to decide to just keep more control of the lanes. Maybe get this OD as Force Staff before they try anything else that's big. They have another Chronosphere in a minute. This Faceless Void, I'm not too sure if he should be going for an Aghanims build. I actually really have been appreciating the Aghanims build on Faceless Void a little bit more, and it looks like he will go for it. Okay. Yeah, it lets you have a Chronosphere on a minute cooldown, which is pretty absurd for such a huge spell. So then you could really just time the rest of your game off of that 1 minute counter, and it works well. But in this game, I mean, Wraith King has an armlet, which is great, but does the Faceless Void need to be going for damage instead? Like, would a Maelstrom help more? Would something like just crit or something like that help more? Because Aghanim Scepter, though it does give you a lot of utility, it doesn't give you that much damage. They might need damage moving forward, because as I said in the draft, Tidehunter, really tanky. Lycan is going for a BKB. He's going to be tanky as well. Does he even have the BKB? He should have. Where did all of his money go? He just died. Maybe he got power treads? I don't know what happened to his cash. But even Doom has been doing nothing the entire game, as advertised. I mean, that's what Doombringer does, a whole lot of nothing. He's almost level 7, almost with that level 4 Devourer, but regardless, he has a mech up after this one creep. So mech up on Doom, 16 minutes in, not the quickest mech in the world, but then again, perfectly respectable when the enemy team shows no signs of getting that item. I actually really like the position that Pleas are in right now. They have a slight gold lead, slight experience lead. As long as they respect the Chronosphere, and as long as they use this Ravage well, then they should be able to both split push and just take straight fights. I mean, Lycan's going to be up on top lane. He's going to be gnawing at this tower just a little bit. Redemption can be trying to do the same, but he's no Lycan. He can't do the split pushing that Lycan can do with these wolves. Already forcing 2 TPs back, and there's no Blink Dagger on the Wraith King, and there's no Force Staff quite yet up on the OD. So catching this Lycan is going to take quite a lot of effort, and I don't even know if it's possible at the moment. The rest of the Pleas side will just group up in the middle lane. Razor looks like he's going to be going for a BKB as well, though that could be the workings of an Aghanim Scepter. Getting a BKB won't help you at all versus the Faceless Void Chronosphere. Is that the thing that they have to be the most afraid of? I think they probably should. So, I don't know, maybe just getting an Aghanim's, or, I mean, it's too late, he's already on the BKB road. Aghanim's probably would have been better. It is something that allows you to punish the Faceless Void in Chronosphere, and there aren't really many of those. At least if you're still in the Chronosphere. Like, there are not many skills that punish the Faceless Void when you are both in the Chronosphere. Or maybe I just like Aghanim Scepter Razor too much. That could also be a thing. That's probably the thing. Smoke up now from the Fraggot side. Do they have a Chronosphere? Of course they do. Of course they have a Chronosphere. Are you going to smoke into Roshan? That's always risky because there are wolves on the field. They could go for Spoon Guard, and Spoon Guard, you see them. Run! Run! No! Exile, where are you going? Don't go there either. Time Walk, Chronosphere. Spoon Guard is going to slowly get bashed down. There's the missile, there's the wave, but a Blink Ravage gonna save Doom as he does mech up. Respect. Gonna back off. Ice Blast will fly through, and Spoon Guard will only get the chilling effect applied to him. Speedicon will get Doom, so this Vengeful is probably gonna die, but the Doom and the Razor are both dead at the moment because the secondary fight is happening. Redemption, as well as Bulldog, is going to be taking a 2v2 fight or something like that. Vengeful. Oh, Tranquil Boots. Okay. Okay. Well, there you go. And keep in mind all the while, Lycan is doing Lycan things, but he got caught. He got caught in Tidehunter's Summon Spirit. The catch isn't enough. It's a catch and release program. Zakoli going to rejoin with his wolf friend, although maybe would be in a little bit of trouble. Wraith King does still have his reincarnation. He has another Wraith Fire Blast, but Tide has a blink. He's not going to be able to catch up to that. And the tier 3 tower starts to take a couple of hits. Bulldog still not doing that much damage. Really needs... he messed up. He messed up. Oh, maybe he figured... No, there's no real justification. He just messed up. OD got a level 2 Arcane Orb instead of level 2 Sandy's Eclipse. It happens. It happens. As long as he hits level 12 before he gets 98 seconds, and that should happen. If that doesn't, then I will be very, very surprised. But 6-13, Fraggots still with a kill advantage. Gold starting to turn their way... Experience starting to turn their way, but Gold still being held by the Pleas side. We have yet to take a really nice 5v5 fight. If they leave someone to dry in the Chronosphere, no matter who it is, as long as it's not Tidehunter, Tidehunter can blink to the area around the Chronosphere and kind of bail him out. It's not too terrible, but I forgot that like 10 minutes ago. I was going to talk about this Crystal Maiden build. As I was saying, it is kind of outdated. Arcane Aura is a good skill, but I don't know if it's worth investing 4 skill points into, because at that point, she only has a very, very minor slow and a very, very minor disable. Normally, Crystal Maidens could have those things and be doing a lot of damage at the same time. Because, I mean, she's capped out on mana. Everyone else is capped out on mana. There's nothing really that they have to be spamming right now, so I don't really know how I feel about maxing out the aura over, say, maxing out Crystal Nova, 250 damage, get more slow, or even Frostbite, you know, lock someone down for longer, and do more damage at the same time. regardless, what's done is done. Getting the mana sometimes is really good, but in my opinion, if you don't have someone like a Timbersaw or a Storm Spirit or those heroes or an Earthshaker or something like that, those heroes who are just really, really hungry for mana, then not going for a full-on nuking build is going to be a mistake. One value point is usually all you need. Lycan gonna continue chipping away at this bottom lane tower. The Wolves, they're getting hit really hard by the Arcane Orb. Fraggots will get Chronosphered though as he tries to escape. OD gonna drop the Eclipse, and the Lycan gets punished for his split pushing efforts. In the meantime, topside, Fraggots, Speedy Kun, as well as Redemption can work down this tower. They will secure it. Zicoli trying to ward them off, but Tidehunter will not be able to do so unless he uses a Ravage, and even then, I'm pretty sure they could just ignore him and, you know, continue on their way. So it is a kill on the Lycan, plus a tower. Fraggots getting the picks that they really, really need, and please, maybe a little bit all in on this Lycan split push. Even if he does have his BKB, which will be coming up shortly, he's not going to be able to do anything once Respect jumps in there with the Chronosphere. And that is going to happen a lot more often as he does slowly build up the components to his Aghanim Scepter. Already has 2 parts of it, only needs another 1200 gold, and he'll have that Aghanim Scepter up and running. I think, please, it's about time to get a fight going. You have Doom, you have Ravage, you got BKBs, or BKB on the Razor. Maybe going for the Faceless Void, the person with the escape, is not the best idea in the world, but you could actually straight push, please. Caleb, give mana. It's time to go. Is Exile Caleb? Is that it? Did I solve the puzzle? Because he's Caleb and they have to give him mana, so he's giving mana. But here we go. Redemption's going to walk right in, and by walk I mean crawl right in. He's gonna start losing damage as the BKB goes off on Ultros, but the Ice Blast will hit onto 3. Ravage though from Zicoli will hit onto everybody. There's no Chronosphere. Fraggots are going to melt, and they do. Priapus will get stunned up, but he's going to pop the Wolves. Now Doom onto Respect. No Chronosphere for you this fight, sir. The Wolves are going to chase him down. The end, the big... Where's the Big Wolf? The Big Wolf's hiding in there. There he is. He's behind the Doom. He's going to chase him down. Now Speedicum, the only one alive. He's got to be panicking because he is going to drop as well unless the Lycan doesn't chase him down. But there should be another Gush and an Anchor Smash. It should be enough. Wow, does Speedicum really live from this? That should not happen. Get him, Zicoli. Get him. Blink. Blink, Anchor Smash. Smack him. Got him. Zicoli finishes the last hero. Just like that, please. Take an amazing team fight. Even though there was a really good Ancient Apparition Ice Blast, simply was not enough. I mean, so far they've been only getting picks based off of the Chronosphere, and, well, there was no Chronosphere that fight either. Getting Ravaged is also not going to help your cause, and, well, Ravage, just as the Chronosphere is going to start coming a lot more, it's going to be a lot more common. The Ravage is also going to be a lot more common, as Tidehunter, he's 1 part away from his Refresher Orb. And it is the most expensive part, to be fair, but it is still a part nonetheless. And Bulldogs might be in a little trouble because Zicoli's on the front lines. He has another Gush. However, there is a Chronosphere. He's going to jump in. Respect. Needs to drop that Chronosphere because he's taking a lot of damage. There's a Chronosphere onto 2 with the Ancient Apparition Ice Blast. Going to come in as well. Priapus will block all that to the BKB though. Exile going to get stunned out of his freezing field. And now the Plasma Field will go off. Ultros will get stunned in the backline. Try to go for Speedicum, but Zicoli going to jump forward. Will kill off the Ancient Apparition. Respect has got to back off. He has literally no damage left. The Razor stole it all. Redemption, he already uses Reincarnation. He's going to get Anchor Smash down as well. Fraggots, they could have lost a lot more, so all things considered, that wasn't too bad. But still, oh, the damage onto Respect. But still, they are without 3 of their heroes as the Caleb Giff mana side is going to start knocking at the front door. The BKB on the Lycan, saving him from a lot of damage and potentially a shatter from the Ancient Apparition. And of course, the Razor being able to steal all the Faceless Void's mana. Chronosphere, I mean, it did a little bit, but at this point, the Wraith King, not much synergy between the Wraith King and the Faceless Void. As I said before, it's unlikely you're going to be hitting people during the Chronosphere, and OD, simply with not enough farm, not enough stuff to actually make a contribution. The Zicoli could just blink out. No, he can't because this is the Frost effect. He's going to get stunned, but instantly the Kraken Shell will buff it all out. He has a Ravage, he will pop it, is going to hit another 4 heroes. Anchor Smash will kill 1, and he's going to take a second. Simtex somehow makes it out alive because they forgot to kill him. Razor dies in the midst of all that, but still another 3 down, 17-16. Now another stun onto Exile. Can they defend the Crystal Maiden? Well, they'll be able to defend the Rax as the Fraggots. Have another stun. Redemption will chuck it. Turn on your armlet. Start to beat down Spoon Guard. I don't know if you could kill his Dooms. Doom's gonna buy up a Heaven's Albert. That'll help. Ancient Apparition Ice Blast. A little bit off the mark, but I don't think it'll really matter. Spoon Guard doesn't look like he's gonna escape this anytime soon. He's gonna go down. Fortunately for the Fraggots, they protect their Raxes, but at the cost of what? Because, yeah, the advantage is going to be pretty huge in favor of the Caleb Give mana side. And now Lycan is going to go start his zoo, and oh, what?
Top barracks has fallen.
What? That hero catapult. It was at like 400 HP. And they just weren't killing it or something? I don't know. Anyway, they take the Raxes. I have to say, they were defending. They, in theory, defended their base, but then they didn't. Roshan's going to be attempted, though Lycan going to respect the Ancient Apparition Ice Blast. Most likely, they're not going to look for a fight for another minute. A double Ravage will be backbreaking, and if it does land on 3-4 people, and so far they have been landing on that amount of people, that will be a 3 or 4 man wipe. There's nothing to do about it at that point because there's no BKBs on the side of the Fraggots. Like Ancient Apparition, just those 2 Ravages alone will pretty much kill him. Wraith King will be able to survive. Vengeful Spirit will not. OD will not. It's going to get really dangerous for the Fraggots really, really quickly. They don't have their Aghanim Scepter up on Faceless Void, but even if they do, the Faceless Void Aghanim Scepter, it's a ganking item. You get it so that you could gank people more often. It's not a massive team fight. We're going to rock, 5v5 style item. Because I think it might give you like a second more of duration, but its duration's not going to help when you can't actually do anything in that time. They are going to go for that Roshan. Ancient Apparition probably send an Ice Ball rolling in real quick. Not the best position for the Please side. Chronosphere will wreck them if they all clump up, so they have to be careful. But really, Priapus could do this all by himself if he really want to. And with Illusions from the Doom tanking, they could definitely do it just by sending the Lycan in. Or they could scout with the Illusions. That's good too. Either way, top lane is pushing in. The range Raxes on top lane are not long for life. Yeah, the range Rax is going to go down soon enough, and Spoon Guard and Zicoli both looking for a way to get into this fight. There's a stun onto Doom. This Doom illusion is going to, well, dodge the real fatal hits from the level 4 orb. It's plus 400 damage to illusions. There's a blink forward for one Ravage, catching everyone. The second Ravage catching everyone again. The OD is going to go down, and the Doom onto respect. Instantly, there are 3 down. Where's the Wraith King? He's losing all his damage, and he will continue to lose damage, I believe, but once he reincarnates, he actually does have all his damage, but Respect in the meantime, getting chased down by angry dogs. He's going to go down, and the GG has been called. Fraggots get caught with their pants down, and Caleb Give Mana find a double 5-man Ravage to close out that game. No amount of Chronosphering is going to help you there, guys. I'm going to be moving on to game number 2. This is a best of 2, so this is going to be the last game one way or another. I hope you guys stick around for that. If you liked the cast, then stick around. And then I'll do my whole follow me on this thing a little bit later. Thanks for watching, guys. GG.